Lori's chat down there. It's rare that I see a chat, and I saw that one. All right, chat, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I had to get.
No, thank you. All right. Nick, you were saying?
So I got a message today, which is amazing while I was at work. Sarah and Gail are going to be able to come to Celebration because Sarah she was able to get time off of her, what is it called again? I'm going to butcher it. You guys right there?
Her job?
Gail.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I was finding on mute. Sarah is training to be a pastor, and she's got one requirement left, which is CPE. And that's working in a hospital environment. That's happening over the summer, but they said she could have the time off she needs to go to Celebration, so we'll be there.
That's phenomenal. That's phenomenal. That's one of the things that we're going to talk about is the difference of being at a live event versus a like a live stream. So we're super excited that you guys are going to be there. Anybody else have some wins or gratitudes? No? Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and delve into some of the things that happened over the weekend, which most of us or some of us got to go to NYKO, and it was absolutely phenomenal. Just being in that environment and actually seeing people versus just seeing them on, on Zoom or on FaceTime or something. But being able to actually hug somebody is absolutely phenomenal. So two things I want to shout out real quick is, I don't know if you guys know them, but it's Dave MacArthur's daughter and her husband, George. I know some of our team met them because George stayed with them. They were the number 8 in the start group for the 18 to 25-year-olds, which is phenomenal. So they're on our team, and we definitely want to send them congratulations. And then I know Jason and Eliza are on here tonight. They just hit Crystal Executive. So everybody, no, I'm sorry. Backtrack, Crystal Manager. I'm already putting it out into the universe that they're going to hit Crystal Executive. So yeah, so they hit Crystal Manager just today, right? Yeah. So we want to give them a huge shout out because they're here on the call with us. So for those of you who were able to either attend or watch on live stream, we know that there was a new video that was released on the website versus the old ISA movie. So for those of you who haven't watched it's one of those real like earth-shattering, like heartstring tugging type of movies. So I would definitely challenge you to go out and take a look at it. I know that I cry all the time, so that's really not a good gauge, but I start to get really teary-eyed when I watched it. So it's definitely one of those movies that's, when you send it out to people that you've connected with and you want to share the Isagenix experience, it's pretty phenomenal. It's impactful. So I would definitely challenge you to go out and take a look at that. So some of the things that happened that we want to talk about is the Ageless Essentials with Product B have now been renamed. I don't know if you guys have seen that, but obviously our product branding has been changing over time. And so one of the big, huge things that have changed is the Ageless Essentials are now being called Complete Essentials. And one of the big changes with that was the ageless, what were they called? The ageless actives is what they were called before, are now being called cytoactives. So it's like this little orange bottle. But the difference with that is they've increased the IUs, which is the international units, from 1,000 IUs to 4,000 IUs, which is phenomenal. So that helps with absorption rate. It's huge. So something that we can share, and JoJo did say, is that, so you guys are probably very aware that product B has been temporarily, it's not discontinued, but it's temporarily unavailable. And the reason for that is that there was an ingredient in there that was not up to our standards. And so instead of allowing it to go out and not be exactly where we want it to be, they've decided to hold off on production until they can get it up to the standards that we expect, and then allow it to be re-released. So anybody have any questions about that? I know there was a big, huge hoopla because everybody was like, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Like, tell us about Product B. So, I mean, they did talk about, the complete essentials. And when they talked about the complete essentials, they kept talking about Product B. So we definitely know that Product B is not going away. We just didn't know what the issue was. And so they were told by corporate that that's what happened. So,
Anna, I do have a question on that.
sure.
So,
I do too.
what happens to the complete essentials with the isogenesis? How are they going to handle that?
So again, my understanding is, because I believe right now the men's complete essentials is unavailable as well. So they're not gonna put it into production unless it's completely 100% exactly where they need it to be. So my assumption would be that right now the women's they must have enough supply to be able to allow those to still go out. But that's an assumption on my part. We can most certainly ask JoJo and Vinny if they have anything additional to that. So somebody else had a question too. I don't know who it was though.
My name's Michelle. I'm on the phone. I just wanted to, because I had just been online today and I was looking at that, and it's just the men's that is out of stock.
Correct.
Women's essentials with Genesis is still available.
Yeah. Yeah. So my assumption is that perhaps they didn't have enough men's supply for that to go out, but they still have enough women's that was with the I want to say good product. Yeah. The one that was up to par. So, all right. So speaking of events, celebration, I know it's, some people are thinking, wow, gosh, that's really far off because it's in August, but I don't know if you guys were aware. So Celebration was available for $149 up until like August 22nd. And right now it's $199 up until January 20th. So we have another 4 days before it goes up to $249. And even, I will tell you guys, so attending events is crucial. You can't bring back the feeling that you get there. But I don't know if you guys all know, Tony Robbins is going to be at Celebration, which is yes, like Wendy said, my hair's up in a ponytail, but wow, phenomenal. So, I think 3 hours with Tony Robbins, if you were just to go out and meet with him, would cost you thousands of dollars. So to get it at like $199 is, even if you didn't attend the rest of the event, it is well worth the money. So I encourage you. Did I say encourage? To definitely go out and get your tickets, because I did talk when I was speaking to JoJo and Vinny tonight. This is the first time that they've ever heard of it. Corporate is expecting that event to sell out by February, which is right around the corner, so definitely get your tickets, right? Encourage that. It's worth it. So speaking of attending events and versus being there, so we have some people who have done that, who have done the, being physically there versus watching it live stream. And I know Nicholas has done that. So Nick, do you kind of want to share, if you don't mind, the difference that you found?
Sure, absolutely. So I actually took the day off of work on Friday because I was like, you know what, to me, I was like, you know what's more important? Be home, go to the gym in the morning, come back, sit down, start it up, and watch this. But there's definitely that difference because I attended, my first event was Celebration 2016, and it was amazing. And when I came back from there, I felt that that thing of you can't tell people what it was like. And I had that firsthand experience coming back to like tell Steph about stuff. So I had that there. But you definitely tell the difference, because like I'm sitting on the couch and, like there's stuff being announced and this and that, and you don't get that emotion, you don't get that energy into yourself from the TV screen. You really don't. It was funny because like she's like getting all excited and stuff, and I'm like, well, yeah, I know, it's awesome, we're gonna do it, but you just don't have that same drive and that same like kick in the pants that you do when you're sitting in the seat and you got all these people around you going nuts and crazy. And one like small technical thing is like when you watch it on the live stream, you can't hear the crowd. You really can't. They do a really good job of cleaning up the audio and everything, so you can't hear the audience going crazy and yelling and screaming and all that sort of stuff, which definitely takes away from some of it, but it obviously has its benefits because it would be kind of disruptive if you were listening to it at home. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I got on that as far as like the difference, because there really is nothing like being there. And it was kind of cool to see the difference between, watching on the live stream and being at Celebration last year. Yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. I totally agree. You're right. The palpable energy that you feel being in the room and being able to be surrounded by thousands of people that share that same vision is just, you can't translate that, right?
Correct. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and just getting, like you say, getting to hug people in person, getting to meet all these crazy people that you've never even met or know or whatever, is amazing too. And I overnighted my shipment from Friday morning and only get to taste the new stuff this evening after I got out of work. Right? I mean, I overnighted at FedEx and just got it. So I did it before everybody knew what it was.
Yeah, that's awesome. Something I didn't share earlier, and I apologize for this, but Josh and Lisa hit the six-figure club. So for those of you who aren't aware, so last year at Celebration, they were up there for six-figure, is it earners, Mike?
Weren't they 250?
Yeah, so they hit six figures cumulatively at Celebration last year. But what was celebrated this time is the six-figure club, which means that for that fiscal year, they made six figures. So at Celebration, it was a cumulative collection of their entire Isagenix career, where this one was specifically for 1 year. So that's a huge accomplishment. So I wanted to share that as well. I've got this little check mark and I'm like, good girl. Done. All right. So, let's talk about some of the contests and promotion, which are huge. So I don't know if you guys are aware or saw it, but there's the Crystal Reset, which started on January 9th. So we're already 7 days into it. But they are, gosh, Isagenix truly is phenomenal when it comes to like just doing everything that they can in their power to just make all of their associates successful. They don't have to do a Crystal Reset. And I mean, I've been in 2 years and they've done it at least twice now so far. This might even be the third one. So definitely take advantage of that. If you guys don't know what the Crystal Reset dates are, I can tell you in just 1 second, unless somebody else happens to have it handier than I do. But like I said, they started January 9th.
It's the Crystal Manager ends March 13th.
March 13th, okay.
Or 12th, sorry, 12th. No.
Yeah, so Crystal Manager is actually March 14th.
14th, yeah, and then the Crystal Director is May 13th.
Correct.
And then Crystal Executive is July 12th.
Yes. And so with that, so if you have not or had not previously hit Crystal Executive, then you can go back in and you can reactivate existing associates. So somebody that you had that was active that went inactive, you can reach down, get them reactivated, get them to consultant, and they will count towards your crystal director or crystal manager, whatever, crystal executive. If you had previously reached crystal executive, you have to have brand new individuals. So there's the difference between the two. So just keep those in mind. But if you go onto our website, if you go into contest and promotions, that information will be there. And there's tons of other information about basically money that's on the table for us to just say, okay, I mean, I don't know why you would say I want that one and I don't want that one, but there's tons of contests and promotion that you're eligible for. So definitely take a look at it. As you're planning out your year and your contacts and your activities, make sure that you have those dates in mind, because when you have a goal and it's not written down, it's sort of this pretty little flighty thing that just kind of, oh, I'd really like to achieve that. But if you have a hard set date, then you know every single day you're going to put more effort into trying to achieve that goal. So I highly recommend going in to take a look at that. And again, Isagenix taking care of not only their associates, but their customers. There's free enrollment until Sunday. It started on Saturday, so they gave us like an extra day, but there's free enrollment until Sunday. So contact those individuals who have maybe been on the fence and share that with them, because then in the other kicker to that is the 3 for free. So is there somebody who kind of wants to explain what the 3 for free is? Or I can't.
Sure, I will.
Okay.
Basically, if the new associate is on auto ship, their first order, if they start this week, they get free enrollment, but they still have to pay the shipping. The next 3 months, when they get their auto ship, they would get free shipping. Month 2, month 3, and month 4, which is enough time for them to do the Isobody challenge. And there is a qualifying BV. It's 125. I'm not on.
Yes.
125.
It is 125. So, and they weren't stupid about when they did it. So if you take their first order, like Mary said, and they're following 4 orders, it has to be a minimum of 125. Minimum BV for the Isobody challenge is 500. All 4 of those 500, you've got them at least $200 worth of free product at the end of that challenge. And they kept saying a word this weekend, stick-to-itiveness. That's definitely, because that will definitely make somebody stick with Isagenix if they go through the next 4 months and they get free shipping. That's phenomenal. They've never done anything like that. So let's see. All right, so we talked about that.
Hey, can I say something?
No, you may not, of course. Go ahead. Who's that? Who said that? I can't
Sean.
Sean.
Is that only with new people, or does that apply to anybody that orders 125 plus in product?
It's new individuals.
All right.
Yeah, I know it's a bummer because I was just like, oh, I just signed up somebody last month, but it's an incentive for us to reach out to those who have maybe been on the fence.
Can I add something?
Of course, go right ahead.
Lori Rizzo pointed out that they just have to enroll in Isobody Challenge the day they buy their first pack for those BV to count towards the Isobody Challenge.
Yeah.
Thanks, Lori.
Let me make a comment, Anna. For those of you who were at NYKO, you heard the following statistic out of Tanya Kirkpatrick and Trudy Maples' team. And that 7-day free enrollment period that we recently had, their team just hit the crap out of that on social media and enrolled 529 people because of free enrollment. And so now we have free enrollment and free auto ship. I can't tell you how many times in my life that I posted something on Facebook, and I got a post scheduled for tomorrow over this, that somebody who is like sitting on the fence going free.
Yep.
So just go hit it, go do it. And when you turn some time over to me, I'll go over some other stuff too. But I just wanted to add in context to this right now is free enrollment is huge to get people to do it. They had 529. We could get 400 and it'd be great.
Absolutely. Yeah, and definitely, Wendy, what you were sharing, and Lori as well, make sure that when your person signs up, that day they go and take their pictures so that they can make sure that they get credit for their first shipment. Because if you wait until the following day, it doesn't count. So, yes, Chad.
There's a quote that I kind of dug, and I think that we could use this and have fun with it. When you're talking with someone about the program, they're going to start it out. You can share with them, because we've got the money back guarantee. You'll either get your sexy back or your money back. So
I love that quote. Who said that? I keep wanting to say it was Tanya Kilpatrick, but I don't think it was. It was somebody else.
You want to be
Jessica Rayner. Thank you.
Huh?
Jessica Rayner said that.
Yeah.
And you know, when they put this stuff in them, it's like swallowing a rainbow. That was another one.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, since we're kind of sharing some of our takeaways from NYKO, Ara, do you want to kind of share? Can you? Do you want to?
Did you say my name?
Good.
Hi.
Hi, honey.
Sure, I'll share. So this was an awesome experience. I'm Aura. If I haven't met everyone, I know I've met a lot of people. This was my second. I went to Celebration 2 weeks after I joined Isogenics, just to check it out and see if it was what I really wanted to do, because I knew I loved the product. And I met all of you lovely people and got super attached, and found like people that I fell madly in love with, and had a wicked dance move. So it's super fun. And NYKO, I honestly didn't know if I was going to go, because I wasn't sure if I was going to, how do you top Celebration? And I am so excited that I went, because it was its own feel, and it was literally exactly what I needed. And Nick, I agree that how do you have that excitement if you're streaming versus being there? So I'm super blessed that I went. But I'll tell you, for me, if we're talking about the event and anyone's ever thinking about going around the fence, the connection is amazing. I mean, this team, the majority of the people that I know are, mid part of the US over to the East Coast, and not a lot of us on the West Coast, although Michael and everybody are, but we're growing. And so the connection was amazing. But one of my biggest takeaways was really thinking bigger. And so Susan Sly actually said, she said, we don't get our goals, we get our standard. And when you change your standards, you change your life. And it really hit me hard. I was actually telling JoJo, who I got to sit with on our flight back, and I said it affected my why. When I started this, my why was about my parents and their health, and just if I could just make enough to pay for their supplements, because they can't pay for their supplements and they live on a very small income. And so that's something I've been doing and trusting, if I can just make enough. And it's like my why grew. My why's been growing. And so that, for me, when Susan Sly said that, it really was about the beauty of your why growing. So without going on and on about that, it was such a lovely experience for me, and the connection was incredible. And you don't feel so isolated, or you get refocused when you have that kind of connection with people. You realize very quickly that there's people going through it, and the excitement of it, and you're sharing that together. And it was just a lovely experience. So
awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. And Aura, I think that you bring up a very good point. We always talk about our why, and we talk about how it always changes, so it starts out being this one thing, but then it sometimes even grows to something bigger that we could have never imagined. So do you want to share quickly what your new why is?
Sure. Yeah, hold on to my rockets. So I am growing. I just have such a passion for intentional living, and I'm growing a business and doing all kinds of crazy stuff. And I realized my why has grown to, I don't want to have to charge for those things. I want to be able to meet people where they're at. And I don't have the funds to be able to do that. And it's so exceptional to know that isogenics can get you to a place of being able to, my why is to have an unendless supply of the ability to give and serve and bless and be available and be present. And this is a platform to be able to get me there. And not only to mention the product's unbelievable, it's changing my life with how I feel, and it will be in my life forever. So why in the world would I not jump into using that? So my why has expanded to really global and international, and propelling me into massive action without stopping and having the freedom to do so. So it's changed, and I still support my parents, and it still is there. It's just grown exponentially. Yeah.
That's phenomenal. Yeah. Way to go. I'm so proud of you. And I have been part of, if you guys don't know, she has some blog posts that come out, which are really like huge, and I love them. So if you want to check that out, private message her, and I'm sure she'd be happy to share. All right. So the next thing I would love to talk about, and we've been talking about this for a long time. We always say, "Oh, I can't wait till we expand to, I can't wait till we expand to," and they announced it. It's, well, you know, I mean, Kathy Coover announced it back at Celebrations, sort of like just slipped out of her mouth. But it was officially, and they made a joke about that too, that, you know, the cat's out of the bag when, but they officially announced it, that we're moving into the UK, which is absolutely, I'm going to say it, fucking phenomenal, because that's just, it's huge. So, and we all realize that the UK is not Great Britain, right? Like, it's not just the country of England. It's, you know, so I know that Nick has been doing, had done some research and watched the replay, because that was after general session ended. They kind of did another session with, if you guys haven't heard Peter speak, I love that guy. Like, he talked about answering, he got his bubble bath ready, and he had a glass of wine, and it was after a long day, and he sits down, and the phone starts ringing. He's like, "Oh, I don't think I'm going to answer it. Am I going to answer it? Am I not going to answer it?" Well, he answered it, and then he couldn't figure out whether he answered via the WhatsApp or FaceTime. So he got a little worried there that he was answering. And it was somebody who was super excited about the UK and had some questions. And so he's going to be phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. But Nick, if you wouldn't mind sharing some of the takeaways the information, because it's going to be, it started this morning. So
Absolutely.
Take it away.
Yeah. So for some reason, I don't know if we just weren't able to watch it afterwards, or it didn't show up right away, or we had to run around. But I went back and I went through the live stream and found where it was, and just went through and took all of their main slides that they threw up and took snippets of them. I put them all in the page. So you can go in there and find them there, but I'll go over kind of the key kind of highlights. And these are very important because, Aura is chomping at the bit, and a lot of us are, but it's very important that we're conscious of what we're doing and we're aware of the parameters that we have to work within, because we've never had to operate like this. And it's all very new to everyone. And it's very important to preserve Isogenics, to preserve the reputation, the company, and have a good reputation going into a new country and into the entire UK. So just some of the quick things, what members can do, members being new UK placement positions, they can pre-enroll their own UK members or international regions as well. They have to go through customer care, I believe they said, so they may not be able to just log in, but not quite positive. But just like you were talking about, they don't have a member account, so they can't earn commissions. They no volume, no ordering product, no back office. or anything like that. Let me see. That's it there. Products. So this is a big thing, and because you may assume, oh, great, they're going to have everything. So let me tell them about all these great stuff that we have. No, you need to research and make sure you're telling them about the right things. So initially, Isoline Shakes, Ionic Supreme, Cleanse for Life, Natural Accelerator, Isoflush, E-Shots, Amped Orange. I don't know, maybe that's the only flavor they're going to be doing for Amped initially. Seems like it. And Isodelites. And so those initially are the products for whatever regulatory reasons. Those are the only ones that they're going to be releasing right away. And then they do say future consideration for releases: dairy-free, vanilla shakes, vanilla snacks, and Isoline bars. So they don't have Isoline bars yet. So you want to make sure you set the right expectations. You really want to educate yourself on this, because the last thing you want to do is be like, oh, we have great snacks, there's bars, they're amazing, they taste like candy and chocolate and blah, 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 blah. Oh, sorry, don't have them. Let me just go through. All right, another big thing you have to be conscious of. The UK obviously has different rules than the US, and just like the entire world does. But they have a rule where you can only order 200 pounds in one single order in the first 7 days. How it applies to Isagenix is from when they open their account, when they go live in Q2 somewhere. In those first 7 days, they can only order 200 pounds of product. Sorry, not 200 pounds of product, total order. So that includes shipping and taxes. So your product price is going to be, lower than that somewhere. But they're going to be putting together kits to obviously satisfy that initial, restriction, for people to get started up. But day 8 and on, sky's the limit. So, obviously there's going to be options for that as well, but you won't have those initially when they first get started. And obviously you'll see the sites where you can go and you can enroll people. That's all on the page. I'm not going to go through that. Pounds as in currency, not weight. Yes. Yep. So British pounds. Compliance. So they went through big, some big compliance points. Some of them I'm not clear on the don'ts. So for instance, you'll see that they say follow social media standards, follow normal compliance policies, share that Isagenix is coming. I don't necessarily know what that bullet point means. Share what that Isagenix is coming. I don't know what that means, what not to do. But connect with your personal contacts and pre-enroll them. So this is where it gets a little foggy, and I'm going to reach out and get some clarification on this, because, all right, so connect with your new personal with your personal contacts and pre-enroll them. So people, that makes it sound like people you know. So then on the don't side, it says, don't engage in public recruiting or post about the UK opportunity on public-facing social media. If someone has a better understanding or translation for what that means, please pipe up. I don't. I'm really not sure.
So when I was there, he made it sound like we don't want to go and scream all over social media that we're going to the UK. However, I have seen a ton of people do it already. So I'm not quite sure what.
It's got to be something very specific, because they can't. Yeah. There's no way they expect people not to post about it on social media.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they're going to be getting questions about this. And there'll be more information to come, obviously, as they work through some kinks and all of that. But obviously, no shipping product to the UK, just like all other countries, no shipping products they don't have. But initially, no shipping products to the UK for people that you create placeholders for. That's a no-no. We're not allowed there yet.
Right.
And
so you don't want anybody smuggling it into the UK.
Yeah, because that could create huge issues. Obviously, as always, no false expectations as far as products, dates, and promotions. And I will roll right into income right here. Another thing, things that we take for granted. So incentives. So not everybody understands WPIBs are not a standard part of the compensation plan. They are a continuing promotion that keeps getting renewed from year to year. Anna, we'll mute out. Thank you. So, double PIBs, those aren't a standard facet of the compensation plan. They have become that way because they keep getting renewed. So initially, the UK compensation plan will not have double PIBs, rake advancement bonuses, or leadership pools. Now that means that they will not have it then, but they will be rolling it out at some point. And I want to say they mentioned maybe a year after they officially release, maybe, but do not hold that to anything. You don't want to be setting any expectations again. So what they will have access to initially for earning will be standard compensation plans. So that's retail sale profits, BV cycles, regular PIBs, and team matching bonuses. So, everything that has to do, but, obviously they're getting paid. You want to remember also, they're getting paid in US dollars. So they're getting paid 54 US dollars. So they're not getting paid 54 pounds. And that's another thing you want to keep in mind when you're talking to them and kind of sharing about the compensation plan. Let me see. And obviously they have, like, how Isogenics does their business, like they always say, they don't go virtual into a new territory, like some companies do. So they have an office set up already, people working in London. So they have the entire thing there. They're going to have spaces for people to come and present at, which is really cool and amazing, and everybody will be there as a resource to talk to for people to go to ask questions. But they have all the lines there, all the different customer care lines and the times that they're going to be open for Australia, New Zealand, United States and Canada, and the UK for these specific UK questions. And they have an email for that as well. Let me just go through quick, see if there's anything else I missed I want to talk about. Nope. Anybody have any questions?
There is some stuff I want to add real quick. So they kind of shared, and I have a screenshot, I could probably put it in the group, but they shared that the United Kingdom, like the 3-year compounded annual growth rate is at a 9.8%. So there's a huge opportunity in that. And then, eventually their intention is to roll out to, the rest of Europe as well. And so, they talked about Germany is 4.9, France is 2.5, Italy, which I'm so excited about, 4.7, and then Poland is 4.2. So there's a definite big opportunity out in Europe.
Yeah, I'll take that. So yeah, thank you, Mike. So when people when people pre-enroll for their placeholder position, there's no social security or anything like that required. It's just a valid address within the territories. So that'll be verified when you pre-enroll them, and that's all they need right then. So there's no enrollment fee or anything like that. That comes when we actually launch mid Q2 estimated.
So if you are enrolling people who are going to be overseas, definitely make sure that you have your international sponsorship before that. So that's a definite needed. And then actually, so what Michael was saying is that they'll need international sponsorship, but you know how we need the enrollment fee and the international sponsorship? Their enrollment fee is they're not going to have that. So that's going to be waived. I don't know if that's a permanent thing or if that's just temporary, but
yeah. And Lori just posted too, and thank you for the reminder. Obviously, you want to let your team know if you're enrolling, UK people under them. Hey, these people are going to be coming, mid Q2. That's your international sponsorship, because if you don't have an international sponsorship from us in the US and they start purchasing product, all their BV, you don't touch, you don't get it. And same for them. They're getting enrolled into a U.S. team. So you're going to want to make sure they have their international sponsorship, however that's going to work, when they activate their accounts, because they're getting put into a team they're not getting any volume from, which you don't want that to happen. So you want to make sure you educate them on that and the benefits and how they can, optimize from that when they get started.
So, and Nick, I know that you talked about this, about there being dormant accounts, right? So since we can start enrolling them now, JoJo said that right now, so there's a special website that you can go to. When you go into that website, you then sign into your back office, but it's separate from the US one. But your tree, you're going to be able to see your tree just as it is today. JoJo said that right now they are only allowing outside right, outside left. They don't know when that is going to be modified. So if you enroll somebody now, just be aware of that. It's strictly going to be outside right, outside left. You can't place them anywhere else in your tree. So just be cognizant of that.
I'm not really sure why you would anyway. Anybody have any commentary on that? I mean,
do something different.
Going inside but yeah.
Well, I guess, if you want to build an inside of an inside leg, maybe. I don't think it's the best way to do it, but it's an option. Right. And so JoJo said, we have this huge opportunity, and they said this as well. Peter said this as well, but be very strategic about how you're doing this. Don't just go all willy-nilly and just, start enrolling people. You want to be strategic, no different than your US business, right? You want to be strategic about how you do it. So make sure that you do that. So, and there was one more thing, Nick, I don't know if you saw it, but we talk about events and what events that they're going to have. So they are going to have there's no actual specific dates around these things, but do you want to talk about that? Do you remember them, or I have them here available? Okay. So there's going to be obviously a soft opening. They will have an Isogenics University and a University in Action. They will have a regional NYKO regional celebration. IsoBody Challenge will be available to them, which is phenomenal. There will be a European-specific ISO Derby, unique local promotions that they'll have. They'll have road shows just like we have here, and then Experience Isogenics meetings. So they're trying to make it very similar as to what we have here and what they have there. And I say, let's take a trip to the UK. So, all right. So anybody else have any questions or thoughts or wanted to add anything?
Hi, this is Michelle. I have a question about the international sponsorship thing. Once you purchase that, do you have to purchase that every year, or is that just a one-time fee?
No, that is, it's a one-time fee, Mike? No, it's a yearly fee. Okay, that's what I thought. I thought you said one, and I was like, no, I think it's yearly. So yes, so you can add it through your back office, and it should auto renew every year unless you turn it off. So just like our yearly membership.
All right, great, thanks.
Yep, absolutely. But definitely go in and check and make sure that you have it.
Anna,
I had purchased it, but I didn't remember.
Can you just put whatever screenshots you have into that album I created so it's all in one spot?
Yeah, I'm happy to. So I want to, Wendy, since you're on, I'm sorry, you were just drinking. Do you mind sharing your experience at NYKO?
Sure. Yeah, like just with like Nicholas was alluding to and Aura spoke about, really the energy and the ability to meet up with people who you don't see normally is huge. And then just seeing other people, other team members, get the bug the same bug that you had, and it's just like, oh, this is so juicy. And I love that leverage to that I don't have that pressure of bringing all of this information to them. They're getting it too. That's total leverage right there, bringing people learning, everyone learning together, and just really getting the excitement. And it is incredible when people individually say and declare that they're going to run for Crystal Executive without me even nudging them to do it. They just inherently want to do it themselves. That's so powerful, and they push me. And another thing is the getting outside of your comfort zone. One of the things I love to do at events is meet people who scare me. Millionaires, just ISA famous people who you just see and I don't know, just like I don't know. I am me. I'm truly the me I want to be all the time at these events. My vibration is so high, and there's just this happy-go-lucky person that comes out inside. And I've Michael and I were talking. Michael Arege and I were talking about this feeling of in the past being like, oh, I wish I said hi to this person. I wish I had gone up to this person and asked them a question. And I'm at the point where if I see somebody who I've always wanted to talk to, I will go up and just make my way there. Yeah, so it's just a lot of fun. And where else can you hang out with a bunch of millionaires, and they're totally humble, and they speak to you like normal people, and we can have normal conversations. I feel like that's the point where there's less of that putting them up on a pedestal and just making them more of your equals, and feeling like you actually can be a millionaire in this company. And other things are like after the meeting, after the conference, you're powwowing with each other. You're eating with them. You're like laid back and shooting the breeze and just catching up and decompressing. And that's where the magic happens. Like these unplanned meetings and lessons and stories. And even on the airplane, oh my gosh, like I connected with people. Like they say the whole Uber thing, like Uber drivers get harassed like crazy. Nick. But I don't know. I think when you learn to connect with people, it's fantastic. Yeah, you meet people all over the place. So that's the fun part with events. I know that was kind of general, but there were some really awesome takeaways, of course, there.
I was going to say, and you get to go around like you and photobomb top income earners.
Oh, yeah. Get vision board pictures with the 6-figure income thing. And I don't know. It's fun. It's so fun.
Thank you for sharing. And I think, Wendy's, I love the fact that Wendy, she truly does. I mean, she goes up to anybody and, makes a point to talk to them. And, I know that she shared with me, she met with Lori Harder and kind of just edified her for everything that Lori's been doing. And so that's one thing that I've noticed is that even though we call them ISA famous, right? So we see them and they're like, I mean, us girls are like, hey, but it's really cool because you can go up to them and they're human beings, really, and they don't act like they're better than anybody else, which I don't know any other network marketing company that is truly like this. I think that we have such a culture that cultivates awesome people. Yeah, and so I mean, you can look through Wendy's timeline, and she's got. I mean, we ran into Paul, Dr. Paul, and we were like, well, let's go ask him some questions because we had questions. So why not just walk up to him? And he was totally fine. I mean, he, just sad. He, stood and talked with us, and we took a picture with him. So, yeah.
Hey, Anna. Oh, somebody was going to talk.
Wendy was.
No, I just and I just gave him a one of the coconut bars because he hadn't tried one, and I was like, why not? He's like, thank you so much. I'm like, you're welcome.
Anna, did JoJo tell you I needed like 10 minutes? Because you're getting close to 7 o'clock my time.
Yeah. Yep, you were actually next. So if you want to go ahead and go. She said to keep it short. She told me to keep it short.
Only if everybody has finished.
Yeah, no, you're good. Go ahead.
All right. Well, I'm going to be excitedly fast for everybody. I have quite a few things here. Let me just get some little things out of the road. I had a conversation with Liddy today. Many of you know who Liddy is. And I just want you to know what it takes to be a leader. And she had this weird thing happening with her cycles in December. So she spends a whole bunch of time digging in her downline, looking at how things are working. She can't stand doing it. She's just like me. She's not a detailed numbers person. And she discovered a flaw in Isagenix order system. So she had a bunch of people going in and enrolling people because she's kind of a product B person. And they would put some people on auto ship, and the auto ships were 108 BV that would keep them active. And yet when the auto ship came out, because of my new pack, they were only given credit for 95 BV. So they were not being consultants. And so she's got Isagenix figuring out where they made a flaw. And so the only reason I wanted to bring that up, she hated to do that. It drew her completely away from what she likes and excels at, but she did it for her team. And I just wanted to give her a big kudos. Her calls on Monday night exactly when ours are. And so I just wanted to throw that out. Okay. We are, if you go to the calendar, and I uploaded a new one today. JoJo wanted me to add a social media blitz quicker. So we are right in the midst today for the next 2 weeks, Super Recruiter, if you remember. And by show of fingers, how many do you have to enroll to be a Super Recruiter? It's 10. You got to enroll 10. That doesn't mean you're an executive. It means you just recruited 10. And so over the next 2 weeks, and it's a perfect time now with this promotion about free membership. If you've enrolled 5, let me give you another example. If you've enrolled 6 in your career, by a show of fingers, how many do you need to recruit in the next 2 weeks to be Super Recruiter? 4. So whatever your numbers are at right now, push like crazy to get Super Recruiter. JoJo and I have some prizes that we'll offer at the end. And so we're in that right now, Super Recruiter mode. So go after it. We already did that. I updated the calendar. Jay Bennett on stage was awesome. He is actually one of my heroes that I've added in A Healthy Mind and Body. And I ran into him in the airport. He was on our same flight actually from San Antonio to Vegas. And I've kind of talked to Jay before, but I got a chance to really spend some time with him. And anyway, make a long story short, he said, this ain't brain surgery. When we get rid of our ego, he says to go out and meet how many new people you've never talked to in a day. Did anybody remember what he said on stage? By a show of fingers. How many did he say to meet daily? 3 brand new people. And it takes intention to do that. And it doesn't mean that you're going to recruit them. It doesn't mean you're going to pitch them. It just means that you're meeting 3 people. And so today I've added that to my vision board, and I told anybody, especially those here in Vegas, that I could deliver on this really easy. I said, if anybody adds the following to their vision board, just a minute here, I'm sorry it takes so long. Oh, crud, here. Let me go into albums here. Boop. I should have queued this up here in advance. Sorry. Ugh. Where's it at here? Oh, right here. I added this to my vision board. It says, I talk to 3 new people a day. In other words, this is my 3x5 cards. I help people become walking billboards. That's another thing Jay Bennett said. The first is I help my associates get paid, like rank or PIB. And I'm going after that. And so today I added to my to-do list in my daily calendar. This is my to-do list, and right here it says 3 new people. And so because I was intentional with that, I asked my wife today, she says, hey, do you need me to run any errands? And so earlier today on Facebook, this woman posts this stuff to my wall. And I've kind of seen her around, and I go, gosh, that is so odd. So I reached out to her in a private message, and we've had this interchange going. So there's one, and then I go to the I went to Sprouts Market. I actually posted a photo on my wall, and I talked to 2 women. I had them laughing. They were both together. We were, I think, getting cucumbers, and one guy was going through onions, and we just talked. And it just never progressed to where I say, hey, as I walk away from that now, I could have actually said, hey, are you ladies on Facebook? And I kick myself for not, but I have my little messenger thing, where you do the scan code. So I highly recommend you go do that. You add and talk to 3 new people a day. And like I discovered today, because I've never done that religiously, I've never done it intentionally, and now I'm intentional doing it because I want to get to that crystal exec reset. Okay, that's there. $200 British pound equals $241 US, just to give you some idea. And finally, this is my final thing here. How many of you, by a show of hands, has actually been to a live Tony Robbins event? Okay, a few of you have. Let me just share my experience. I've followed Tony Robbins for years, and earlier this year, when I was seeking out what my why was, I watched his documentary on Netflix called I'm Not Your Guru. And believe it or not, Tony Robbins, it was more than an hour into that, the videographer asked him, why do you do it? So he's basically asking Tony what his why was. And Tony said, my why is to end human suffering. And I started bawling because that's my why. And so I have this huge connection to him. And I'm like, I got a man crush on Tony Robbins. And I follow him on YouTube. And I've never experienced him live until I went to Eric Worre's event. And there was, I don't know, well, there's 20,000. I don't know if there's 20,000 there that night. There was a lot. And I witnessed what he said about energy as influence. When we were at NYKO, and at the very end, did Kathy Coover at the end knock it out of the park? What did she do? She did a Tony Robbins, started jumping up and down, and she had us rocking. I talked to Jay Bennett about energy as influence, and Jay says, absolutely. And he said, Mike, because he asked me a question. Jay is just a consummate question. He says, who do you know in Isagenix that energy is influence? And I go, how about Jimmy Smith? Jimmy comes on stage and he's boxing. How about Susan Sly? And so Tony had this entire 20,000 like going crazy. Seriously. I mean, it was awesome. And so he is such a well-known icon. I'm gonna share my screen here briefly. Let me go to my desktop, and I'll unshare it at the very end here. Let me go to my wall. And so at the event, let me get down there. That's what that woman posted, my football deals, an article, licensed product, the cat that my son's cats laid on my bag the whole time I was there. Oh, I'm getting there. Okay, just bear with me. Sorry, I should have keyed this up too. I'm getting there. Oh, come on. Oh, it has to be coming up. No, I must have passed it. Bear with me. I'm sorry. Oh, shoot. Is it here? No. Heather Messenger and her husband, I finally met. Oh, crud.
Mike, you might want to try doing a search up at the top of your page.
Okay, here we go. So I put right there in NYKO, as soon as it was announced, I go scroll, find me a picture on the internet of Tony Robbins yelling with the crowd, and I write, you might have to move the thing out of the way, I write, who wants to attend 3-hour Tony Robbins event in Las Vegas with me in August? Okay, let me go show my, oh, poop. Sorry, let me go back. Anyway, I got Cheryl's, well, Cheryl replied to me, that picture. Cheryl Zarkowski is a world record holder running. She's ran like 16 Badwaters, and that's like a 150-mile run from the bottom of Death Valley to the top of Mount Whitney. It starts in 140-degree temperatures. She's done that like 15 times. I've actually asked her if I could be one of her support crew one year. Let me go back to this post. Oh, shoot, I'm sorry. Well, let me just get out of unshare mode. I'll just tell you what happened here. Oh, no, let me stop share. Sorry, stop share. Okay. And so Cheryl has done that. She's got a world record. She ran 405 miles without stopping. And she also last year ran in 2 segments all the way down the coast of California. She's got this huge following on Facebook. So she messages me right on that post. I'm interested, and I have 5 extra celebration tickets. And so I wrote her, I says, okay, Cheryl, I got your ticket. And then she writes back, well, let me check on my schedule. She says, I'm volunteering those dates. She writes me back that she can't. She says she's doing it. And I says, look, I got a ticket. If your things change. And she says, you know, I'm going to try to sneak out early. And then another one of my friends, Sam Smith. I don't know if any of you know Sam or that name rings a bell. Sam Smith was a cornerstone of the 1977 UNLV Rebels basketball team that went to a Final Four. I was a practice player on. Sudden Sam was his name. I mean, the guy could light it up, and he has this huge following in Las Vegas, and so he was interested. So I sent Sam a private message, and I said, Sam, dude, I got a ticket for you. And I says, all it's going to cost you is let's get together and catch up. And so Tony Robbins is huge. You guys just need to go find you a picture. You can copy the one I use and create curiosity. Who wants to go with me? And you could read up and down that wall. I have several other. I have a former associate. I have another former associate that dropped out because she couldn't afford it. Single mom going to law school, and she's gonna take the bar in July. I says, her name is Amy. Come on out to Vegas. You can stay with me. So it's a perfect recruiting tool. Even if they don't go to the entire convention, and you could, say it's $199 for 3 hours, especially if you have people in Vegas. So Jay Bennett even mentioned to JoJo and I about that. So use it as a recruiting tool. My goodness, It's a huge gift. And I'm telling you, for those that have never been in a live event, I know Katya and I think one other person said they'd been to an event, maybe Deb or somebody, Deb Stevens, I think. Raise your hand, Deb, you've been there. I mean, it was phenomenal. You're gonna feel what it feels like to be energetic. And I'm telling you, like those gals today at the store, when I went, here's the other thing that I've been doing. Every time I go in a public forum because of one of my 3x5 cards about energy, before I went into the Sprout store today in my car, I go, I'm kind of doing something to move, like Kathy said. And it's easy. I mean, it's just your influence. Jay Bennett told me, and if any of you, Charles is going to bed, buddy. I know it's late, and I'm sorry for being so long. I'm going to finish on this. Jay Bennett told me before he went out on stage at NYKO, he was jumping up and down to his favorite music to get in this energetic state. And that's what Tony Robbins is going to teach you. So I'm done. I'm zipping it up. You guys are great. I'm so glad to have seen you guys at NYKO. And let's knock it out of the park with this free enrollment and 3 for free and be a super recruiter.
Absolutely.
You can 3-way with me. Go and talk to people. Do it. See ya.
Thanks, Mike. So real quick before you guys hop off, Jojo wanted me to post out to you guys. Kathy Cooper asked that we do it. We just speak to 2 more people than we do on a regular basis. So if we could do that, it's going to be freaking phenomenal. So Dave is going to do an event with Michael on Thursday in Las Vegas, Utah? Where? Las Vegas, right?
Yeah, it's in Las Vegas. And
okay, so if you guys have questions, reach out to Mike and ask him if you have anybody who would like to go. So, all right, I want to thank you guys so much. I know it's way past the time, but there was a lot to talk about with NYKO. So, love you guys. Have a great night, and we'll talk soon. All right, bye, guys.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Anna. I'm sorry I missed you.
Oh, I know, me too. Feels like I ran into so many people that I don't know, but I saw like all the time. And then like some people, like I didn't get, Jeff was there too, right? You and Jeff were both there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We're still here.
You are?
Yeah,
nice.
We're flying home tomorrow.
That's nice. Well, good.
Yeah.
Good.
We'll
Well,
have to connect another time.
Yeah, we'll see each other at Celebration, right?
Yes.
Awesome. All right. I'll see you soon.
Okay,
Okay.
take care.
You too. Bye, Mary.